Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we've got a highly focused explainer tackling what is easily one of the most persistent and, let's be honest, absolutely frustrating challenges in agriculture. We're looking at a masterclass built specifically for farm owners and agribusiness operators. And the main focus? Well, it's all about bridging that massive, agonizing gap between pulling off a highly successful harvest and actually seeing real financial profit sitting in your bank account at the end of the year. So let's just dive right into this. Good harvest? Still short on cash by the end of this season? Look, if you're in agribusiness, that quote probably hits way too close to home, right? It highlights a seriously painful reality. I mean, you put in the grueling hours, you battle unpredictable weather, you manage the soil, and against all odds, you actually pull off a great yield. The crops look fantastic, the herd is super healthy, but then the dust settles and your pockets are basically empty. It's an incredibly common scenario. The source material we're looking at today addresses this completely head-on, validating that if you're feeling this way, you are definitely not alone. And that brings us to the exact solution being offered here, a one-day masterclass appropriately titled From Production to Profit. Hosted by the Key People Issues Institute, this session basically promises that the frustrating cycle of high production and low profit is entirely fixable. And honestly, the crazy part is they say it's fixable in just a single day. The whole curriculum is laser-focused on diagnosing exactly why that cash vanishes and, more importantly, how to plug those holes way before the next season wraps up. But, before any hardcore financial math actually happens, the masterclass takes a really fascinating detour. The day opens up with a short teaser session called Understanding the Producer. Because think about it, before you look at the farm's numbers, you kind of have to look at the farmer. It's an introspective dive into the actual person running the operation. It proposes that the financial outcomes of your farm are heavily influenced by who you are as a manager long before a single crop is even harvested. So it frames these as two sides of the exact same coin. On one side, we've got the producer's tendencies, basically the psychology shaping your journey from production to profit. On the flip side, we have the hard math, the properly built budget. And the masterclass really drives home that your personal tendencies, your daily habits, and your biases actually dictate how you handle that hard math. Makes sense, right? If you don't understand your own operational psychology first, those numbers are simply never going to fall into place. Okay, so once that psychological foundation is set, the class aggressively tackles a super common operational habit: guessing. You literally have to stop guessing at your enterprise budget. Too often, agribusiness operators rely on, gut feelings, rough estimates from last year, or just generic industry standards. But guessing is exactly how a great harvest turns into a massive cash shortage. This masterclass is totally designed to replace those dangerous estimates with concrete, rigorous financial solutions that are tailored specifically to your farm. Let's break down how this actually builds into the core of the day, because attendees don't just sit there and listen to lectures. They walk away with 4 exact tangible deliverables. Number 1, your own enterprise budget, built properly. Number 2, real break-even numbers. Number 3, your single biggest value leak named and addressed. And finally, number 4, a 1-page action plan in writing. Honestly, that is an immense amount of personalized practical value packed into just one day of work. Let's zoom in on that second deliverable for a second. The crucial point here is knowing your real break-even numbers. And I mean real numbers, not some regional average or a textbook figure. The masterclass zeroes in on generating the exact figures you need for your specific crop or your specific herd. Because let's face it, every single farm's soil, inputs, and labor costs are entirely unique. If you don't know the exact dollar amount it takes for your specific operation just to cover its baseline costs, true profit is mathematically impossible to plan for. Then we hit the third deliverable, which honestly might just be the absolute most vital part of the whole day. You're going to name and address your single biggest value leak. Every single agribusiness has one. It's that hidden inefficiency, that recurring waste, or maybe a mismanaged resource that is just quietly draining your seasonal profits completely dry. This masterclass essentially forces you to isolate that specific leak, put a name to it, and directly figure out how to fix it before it ruins the cash flow of yet another harvest. And all of this discovery, all of this math, it all culminates in something highly actionable. You leave with a 1-page action plan for this season, in writing. We're not talking about a massive, overwhelming binder of theory that's just going to collect dust on a shelf. No way. It is a single, highly focused page outlining exactly what you need to do immediately to shift your farm from simply producing to actually profiting. Now, let's talk logistics and, of course, the investment.
This one-day masterclass comes in at an incredibly accessible cost of just $75 per person. When you think about getting a full day of personalized financial structuring and a concrete action plan, something that could potentially save a farm thousands and thousands of dollars in hidden leaks, it's positioned as a remarkably high-value investment for pretty much any agribusiness operator out there. And it actually gets even more cost-effective if you decide to bring your team along. So a standard ticket is $75, right? But if you have a larger agribusiness team and you book a group of 5 or more, that price drops to $70 a person. Plus, there's an early bird special where the first 20 bookings actually save 20%. It's super clear they've structured this to encourage farm management teams to all attend together, which guarantees that everyone on the farm is fully aligned on the exact same budget and action plan.
As for the itinerary itself, the class does require a solid day's commitment. It runs from 8:30 in the morning right through until 4:15 in the afternoon. Now, according to the source material we have, the specific date and venue are currently listed as to be confirmed. So if you're interested, you'll definitely need to keep an eye out or just reach out to them directly to lock in those final logistical details once they're officially announced. Which brings us to the folks actually putting this together. The masterclass is run by the Key People Issues Institute, and their mission is stated super clearly: building people, growing businesses, transforming communities. If you're looking to reserve your seat, their contact info is right there in the material. You could shoot an email to smkagande@gmail.com, give them a call at +263 772 652 261, or even connect with them via LinkedIn. They're a really community-focused institute that's aiming to structurally improve local agribusinesses from the ground up. Well, we've covered a lot today. The massive gap between harvest and cash, the underlying psychology of the producer, and of course, the hard math of building a real budget. So I want to leave you with this final thought to really reflect on. Are you ready to stop guessing and start actually profiting this season? If you're tired of working the soil all year just to break even, or worse, lose money, maybe it's time to take a single day to master the math. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope this gives you a powerful, fresh perspective on managing your agribusiness.